dude, I've just noticed, like, is it just me? It might just be like the the saturation or something on my monitors, but like it looks like I have lipstick on, doesn't it? Fucking hell, I can just give smooches out now because my perfectly pink lips. What the fuck? Why has that happened? You know what I think it is? Actually, you know what it is? It's because I don't have my big fucking light on to illuminate. I'm using natural light. We're using natural light for this episode until like the sun goes in, because it's like, you know, going on like late afternoon, the sun's like coming down past the fucking window, so eventually it's gonna get dark, which means I'll have to put on the artificial light, and hopefully I won't have smoochy lips anymore. But I don't know, it's kind of aesthetic. Oh, wait a minute. I'm kind of losing them now. What's happening? It's like, oh, whatever the fuck. We're spending a minute talking about my fucking lips. Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit here, back again with Fate Unlimited Blade Works. We are on episode 8, or episode 9 if you're watching it on Netflix. You know, because Netflix loves to do that shit. And I mention it every episode. So yes, in the last episode, we had the fight between Caster and Archer, and the second assassin versus Saber. The assassin itself was actually conjured up by Caster as a sort of against the rules policy. I mean, I'm guessing it is actually against the rules, and I wonder if at some point during the story Kira will get involved with that, because obviously him being the mediator, that's kind of a thing that he has to do. So, but then again, he likes chaos, so I'm wondering if he's actually going to live up to the mediator, like, you know, to the role, and actually go ahead and do something about it, or he's just going to let it play out and he just won't end up giving a fuck. Dog, come on, doggo, stop fucking barking, man. I'm trying to record here. Yeah, we've got the name of Archer's sort of attack. He calls it Calibbolg, and he says, "I am the bone of my sword." Like, watch it, listen to that back. He sounds so cool. Like, there are, like, when it comes to like Japanese, and like when they like speak English and stuff like that, like generally like it's a bit off, and it's hard to almost take seriously sometimes. But he pulled that off perfectly. I really like it. I like the sort of like the off English sort of accent that he had with it. It sounds cool. It sounds really cool. I am the bone of my sword. So yeah, then after everything went down, Archer pretty much overpowered Caster, but refused to kill her, because he wants Caster to keep doing what she's doing by taking all of the you know, getting all of these human souls and whatever, basically powering her up so that she can take out Berserker. Now it's a good plan. It's a very morally it's in a moral grey area, let's put it that way. But it was definitely an interesting like sort of side of his character that we haven't seen yet. And he actually turned on Shiro and actually sliced him down the back. Didn't kill him though, even though I think that he could have. But you know, apparently they keep like putting forward this idea that Shiro's just like able to fucking dodge like shit, like an inhumane person. It's nuts. Inhuman. So yeah, so after that all went down, there was like little flashbacks. Apparently Shiro has some connection to Archer for whatever reason, and it's not supposed to happen that way. And I believe I said the theory was, I think it's to do with the pendant, because there's two, right? There's two pendants out there, and Archer's like the only one that knows that. So I think there's something with that there. I'm not sure if we'll get any in these next two episodes, but we'll see. But yeah, I don't think I need really to talk about anything else. So we're going to get in this episode and see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, episode 8. Right. Fuck. Good episode. I am thinking there is God, there's some like tricky play at work here, because the thing that interests me is the fact that when Caster did show up, I was like, oh well, you know, they might be alright, because Caster is sort of the reason why she has the Ryudo temple and that place like set up the way it is it's so that she can like truly, use like magic, basically like extensively without like overdoing it on on the mana pool that she has, and she can sort of use as a home field advantage kind of thing. So I was like, oh well, if she's out of there, then she's not as she's not as effective as she would be if she was at Ryoto Temple. So, but Saber said that it was just cast as shadow. Now, with Shinji there at the end, and he's saying, no, it wasn't me. It's tough. I'm wondering if the only like sort of Shinji had to be responsible for those little those sigils around the school, right? He had to be. I was just thinking that maybe because Casta sent her like a shadow there and was able just by that to take out Ryder. That's nuts. The real Casta didn't even have to leave where she was, and she was able to send out like a shadow of her to like able to fuck it so that like that's nuts. Like either I don't know. I'm guessing then. Well, yeah. First of all, Ryder. It was Ryder all along. I can't believe it. How the fuck, man? It's such a mindfuck because as soon as she showed up, right? First episode she showed up, I was like, that's definitely Assassin. It fucking has to be. I mean, the way that she attacks and everything like that is out of, it's like that's what an assassin would do, right? So she's more like an assassin than Ryder. She never wrote anything. Unless, well, if you know, you know. But I mean, fuck's sake, that just is such a big mindfuck, man. Because now I'm wondering if there is an assassin unaccounted for. Because I was thinking there's 8 servants around then. Because there has to be 7, right? That are brought through the Holy Grail. All right. If what Casta did when she summoned her own servant, assassin, right? Then that would mean that I don't know. Maybe she did it beforehand. If she did it before Assassin was picked, then I guess it could be possible that way. Though I don't see how, like, the Holy Grail itself would be happy about that. And Kiria hasn't talked about it at all yet, so he's going to go talk to Kiria now, though, so maybe it gets brought up next episode. I hope it does. Like I said at the beginning, it's like Kiria like has this, this idea of like chaos and whatnot that I can totally see Kiria just being fine with it and therefore nothing changed. So it is highly possible that assassins, like, there is just seven servants. Oh well, there's 6 now because Ryder died, but yeah, I could see that being the case if Assassin wasn't summoned before, before Casta was, and then Casta just came out and immediately did that, then I can see that being the case, and then Kiria was just like, all right, well, fine, I guess. But yeah, I mean, that's nuts. So I'm wondering then what would happen if Casta was to die. Like, because Assassin's been summoned in a different manner to what the rest of them did. The rest of them came through the Holy Grail. This one came through just as a summoning sort of ritual kind of thing. So if she was to die, like, would Assassin disappear, or would he sort of work by the same Holy Grail rules and someone else could take him? I don't know how that would work. I guess we'll find out at some point. I mean, judging by the way Caster is now, like, I entirely see Archer's point. Like, because Caster's able to just send out a fucking shadow of herself and still take out a fucking, like, take out another servant with not even her real self, like, that is a kind of testament to how powerful she actually is. I mean, she just, I guess, as long as she stays in Ryudo Temple, she just has so much power that she can essentially create a servant that's better than other servants. Like, that's nuts. But yeah, But I was thinking, like, maybe back to my earlier point of, like, all the sigils placed around the school. Like, I was wondering, like, was it really Shinji that did that? But I'm thinking it is him, because an earlier episode, Shinji actually did point it out. Like, he did point out, oh, what, you're getting rid of sigils and whatever. So he was aware of it. I mean, I guess that doesn't entirely confirm that he did it, but I just feel like, you know, why else was he making a sigil this episode? Like, what else was that for if not to activate the other ones, right, around the school? Because otherwise, in that case, then that was entirely convenient that all that happened at once. I was just thinking in my head, like, if Kazuki is the other master, right, then if he was the one that put sigils around the school, that would allow Caster, like, maybe the sigils were created there so that, just like Ryudo Temple, it was a space that included a lot of like, residual mana that she could, like, use while she was there, or while her shadow was there, that just give her more power, like, outside of Ryudo Temple. But I don't know. Nah, I don't think so. I think Shinji is just responsible for that. But I just wanted to make sure that, you know, I was just giving you my, like, sort of thought process going through it. Yeah. So at the beginning there, Shiro was in Archer World, and he became a hedgehog. The only thing I can probably equate that to is it's sort of like when Archer uses his knives, right? His sort of like daggers, and they break, and he summons new ones. Like, is that what it is? Like, was Shiro sort of, like, obviously unintentional, like, summoning like daggers that were coming out from his skin? Like, is that what it is? I guess it is. And interestingly enough, straight after that, when he got up and he was training, he said that he was just mimicking what Archer was doing. But as soon as, like, he had this, like, you know, this odd stance and he was, like, getting better, obviously, because the episode hasn't, like, shown how long they've been trained, I imagine it can't be that much. But, like, I'm wondering if there is if through this, because I'm still going with the pendant theory, that the pendant is what is connecting Shiro to Archer, right? And that's the reason why he's, like, so much. For some reason, he's more connected to Archer than he is to Saber. I'm guessing it's the pendant, and that's what it is. That, as a sort of effect of that, he is essentially gaining, like, Archer abilities. If that's even possible, like, I don't know how he's how is Archer, like, I want to know what his thought process is, because obviously he's the one that knows this is happening. If this is entirely based upon the pendant theory, which I think it has to be, because that's the only thing that hasn't been explained, and the only thing that's like non-explainable for all of the actions that he has done so far in this show. So it has to be the pendant. I want to know fucking Archer, like, what's like. I think this whole thing about him not knowing who he is at the start was, like, a lie. I think he was just saying that. Like, I think it was. I think, like, Archer's got his own motive for whatever he is doing, right? That he's not sharing with Rin at all. And for some reason, he like, he must know that, like, Shiro is, like, he must know that Shiro is, like, I don't know, like, has to be involved in some form or fashion, like, because he doesn't, I guess he doesn't trust Rin enough. Maybe this idea that because people keep pointing out that they're the same, like him and Archer are like very similar. Maybe that's it. Maybe Archer needs somebody with like a similar ideology to him, or like a similar goal, maybe. Because Rin is only looking to win, right? They had that sort of they had that conversation on the roof about her just looking to win, right? And I'm wondering if he's still playing the idea of like, oh well, great, we're perfect for each other, when in reality it's not. Archer has like a different plan in mind, because he said to Shiro before, like he has no reason to want to win the Holy Grail, and that was the reason for it. There's something different, and I don't know what it is. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. But yeah. So Chiro, ends up like he's mimicking Archer's stance and technique, and not only that, but he actually picked up the dual wield as well. So yeah, we'll see how fast he, depending on how fast he's like, how much better he actually gets over the course of like a period of time, will determine whether or not he is actually like, being gifted Archer's sort of like abilities as an effect, as opposed to him just training. We'll just wait and see. But Saber was hung up about it. She didn't like it. She turned into a tsundere, and left. So she got really hung up about it. And I wonder. I don't know. It could just be a thing about pride, I guess. But yeah, it's interesting seeing it from Shiro's perspective, because Shiro still like. It's interesting because I think because of the way Shiro thinks about stuff, and I've obviously mentioned the way that I thought about like Shiro and how like it's very strange, like the way he thinks about stuff, that if he was if his personality was any different to what it is, then I probably wouldn't have picked up on this on that fact. But the idea that Shiro sort of goes along with this idea of almost like it's weird, it's like it's second nature to him, and he's saying this again with that thing at the end about saying that he's used to seeing dead bodies. I think he's getting like, was there something that happened in Zero where did Kenneth say, I think it might have been revolved around Kenneth. I might be wrong. I might be completely like mixing this up with a different show. But I seem to remember there was a thing of like, if you, it's possible to get too too connected, like way too much, like way too connected to your servant, that you start like changing or something. Like you can get like caught up in their sort of. I can't remember if that was a thing or not. I feel like it was, and I feel like it was with Kenneth. I feel like he said something in Zero where, it was in the middle of a conversation where like it's possible to kind of get caught up in their, in what they want, or like what their life is. So you start like sort of getting confused or something. You guys are gonna have to comment and tell me if that's right or not, because I feel like I remember hearing it, but I might just be getting that completely confused with something else. But if that's the case, then because Shiro is now being connected with Archer, I'm thinking everything's becoming second nature to him, because he is he's getting memories from Archer. So he's like, so even though like Archer like literally just fucking slashed him in the back and everything like that, he still is fine with everything that's happening, sort of brushes it aside and is fine mimicking his stuff. And even though like anybody else would be like, fuck, I don't want anything to fucking do with that person, you know what I mean? Either that or you'd have like vengeful thoughts. But I think that's sort of like, that's interesting. Like, just like I said, if Shiro had any other personality than the sort of the strange one that he has now, I don't think I ever would have sort of noticed that. But I think it's because he's sort of like he's getting like Archer memories, or like there's something with that. There has to be, man. Anyway, so yeah, Rin was getting close to Shiro there, but you know, then figured out the reason why is because she found out about Archer attacking Shiro, which means Archer told her about it, right? Must have. Or while Rin was sleeping, she was able to like see through his eyes, which I don't know. I don't think that's a thing. I think they're just able to sort of like, I don't know, maybe. Might be wrong. But yeah. Rin talked about like Tosaka's magic and how it's all based around conversion technique, so it's all about like transferring power to either oneself or into objects and stuff like that, and that's how hers works. Necromancy, I even said during like during the reaction, I'm like, yeah, if anything suits the Mato family, right, then it would be fucking necromancy, wouldn't it? Like fucking dark black magic shit. But no, it turns out that's not him that did that, but that was whoever was controlling Casta. So fuck knows. I mean, I'm still under the impression it's like it's Kazuki, but like the longer the longer this goes on without getting an answer to it, the more I am. For some reason, the more I'm like, it's not him. This is the problem when like when you think too much, you start to second guess yourself, and then it's like a case of like, oh well, it's too obvious that it's him, so it can't be him, even though it could easily be him. You know what I mean? It's so stupid, man. There's so much evidence stacked against Kazuki at this point that I am now wary that it's not him. Even though I've said from like the beginning it's him. Like, wait, I said it was easy at the start, but then like, but I thought like he was second hand to it. Like I thought Kazuki was like a sort of almost like a guardian that was sort of like teaching whoever was the real master, and that's what it is. It still could be that, I guess. But Kazuki is involved with it somehow. He has to be, man. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it was the last person to go, like, that we saw that Mitazuri had to go see before she turned up, like, you know what I mean? She was missing, and then she turned up later with glazed over eyes and no memory and shit. Fucking Issei is you know, starting to get very tired from it, right? So, oh man, it's honestly, it's crazy. This is like UBW is such a different experience from Zero. Like Zero is like so like I feel like Zero is like so like contained because it's a prequel story. Generally, the idea, just because of, you know, because Fate Stay Night came out before, there's almost like there was like almost like an expectation that, oh, you've already seen Fate Stay Night, so you kind of get a feel for how stuff is. So Zero never had to be mysterious. I feel like with Zero it was more like, well, now that I'm watching this, I feel like it is. While I was watching it, obviously it is like mysterious, and there's some revelations that come out because obviously it's my first time watching Fate, like regardless, like out of any Fate show. So I guess it was mysterious to me, but like in terms of this, because the storytelling's different, like you're not seeing the perspective from every master, you're just seeing it from like Rin's and Shiro's, that like I feel like it's the storytelling's so different, and it ends up being a mindfuck because I'm like expecting, like, I'm basically taking the knowledge that I have of Zero and trying to apply it to UBW, and they're changing shit, like they're changing shit around. Like, example, like Casta summoning Assassin. You know what I mean? And like the person who I thought was Assassin is actually Ryder, but then the second Assassin turned up. I was like, oh well, that's just because Casta summoned it. It's not a real. It's like an 8th servant. So there's 2 assassins. But then we'll come to this episode, and it turns out that the person that I thought was Assassin, I thought that maybe because the second Assassin turned up that it was Ryder, but then I was like, no, because she doesn't look like Ryder. But then this episode come along, it's like, yes, it actually is Ryder. It's like, fuck. It's like, dude, it's such a mindfuck. I love it though. All right. And yeah, so yeah, Ryder killed by deception because Castle sent a shadow there and whatnot. I don't know how. I mean, I wish I'd got to see it, but we didn't. Sad times. But yeah, it was confirmed. Like basically, like everything that I had of Shinji was obviously going to be him. Like the guy who talks a big game, but as soon as like shit hits the fan, he's the biggest fucking scared shitless dude there. Typical. And yeah, I did say it during the reaction, but like this show, like it just has the best visuals. Like it's so visually appealing to look at. Like it's really fucking nice. Like I looked at fucking One Punch Man, right, and the biggest quality that show has, from my perspective, is like the animation, and that was primarily in season 1, right? Because we don't know what season 2 is going to be like, but it has to be on par. If not, then people are gonna. I think people will be annoyed by it. But I was watching that show, and like I was like, some of this, like some of the scenes have the best animation in that show. But this show does it on such a bigger scale. Like I feel like on this show, like it's so like grandiose, and it's like it's kind of the scenes go longer, and like I said visuals as like that's the key word, because it's not just animation, it's the art style as well. Like it's so like lush, it's so great to look at. I'm so impressed by it. Like it's just nice, man. I really love it. But yeah, that is all for this episode. So thank you everyone for watching. In the description below, links to certain things. Discord, get yourself over there. All the information that you need regarding all my my channel and everything like that's over there. Community's over there, so you can come over and talk to me at the community. Website, SirMonkeySuit.com. All my shit is over there, so come over there, join, become a member of that. And Patreon. So I do have a Patreon if you want to support me, I'll be very much appreciated. There's a bunch of different tiers and rewards depending on how much you want to support me with. $5 early access gives you access to 4 episodes of Fate every week, and you get the other shows a week early. So yep, there's that. Full length, $10 a month gives you access to my full length library. Everything I do gets a full length. $15 exclusive tier. That gives you access to a bonus show which I'm currently reacting to, which is 7 Deadly Sins. So if you're interested in that, get over and become an exclusive tier patron. Elite tier, $50. Every time you pay $50, you get a choice of a show that you want me to react to, and I will react to it, but it will go to the back of the list, so it might take me a while to get around to it. But if you don't want to wait, and you want your show to be reacted to next, and you want to get God tier, which is $100. But that is all, so thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.